Josie's on a vacation far away.
Ciao, what's going on, guys? Tarzan here. Want to first off start this video by thanking you guys. I'm aware that I haven't been replying very much. I haven't been active on social media, and a lot of you have been messaging me being like, Tarzan, what happened? We heard you had a surgery, you've been in the hospital, what's going on, man? I thought we were okay and stuff. And you know, I apologize, guys. I've been recovering, and the good news, praise the Lord, alhamdulillah, namaste, my shoulder's recovering and healing, if I don't slip and fall here. So guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about my crash and what I learned from it, where I'm at right now, and answering your questions. I'm here right now. This is the kind of place I come to get away from people and to contemplate, meditate on life, and think on things hard. And one of the things I want to do is to really think hard and see how and why I'm so fortunate to have left the crash with very minimal financial harm and physical harm. Being in Canada, we're lucky that a lot of the healthcare expenses are covered, and so I'm very fortunate that my surgeon agreed to repair my shoulder, and even my physiotherapy costs after the recovery are to be covered. If the same thing happened in the US, I'd be looking at $13,000 in medical bills just for the surgery, and well over, I don't know how many hundreds, thousands of dollars added to my crash costs. I had to repair Jade, and because I am a mechanic, I'm able to repair Jade myself and save a little bit of money that way. But again, the important thing is to really take away, because crashes can be either in one of two flavors. They can have an effect where they end your career and they end your life, they end the possibility of you ever riding, which is more rare, you know, for track riding. And you know, I'm not really off to a great start convincing you guys to go track riding being in a sling here, but I will be doing a video later on talking about how track riding is really safe relative to street riding, and the risks, scientifically speaking and statistically speaking, the risks of crashing and getting fatally injured, or even permanently injured or harmed or dying on a racetrack just doing a track day is next to none. Basically, it's next to none. Like, it's 1%, 2%, you know, of cases, and then the 1% you hear about it on the news takes over all the attention, right? So I'll be presenting you with studies and rates so you know what you're getting into, risks. But one of my goals here with my channel is to basically explain why it's a good idea to leave your street boots and go out to the racetrack, why it would be a good thing for more people to do that rather than to have more people dying out here in the streets, crashing, making us motorcyclists look bad. You know, I was just talking to my nurse or my physiotherapy booking assistant, whatever, and she's just like, oh, you're a motorcycle racer, and you drive. She thought I was a driver because I told her I crashed on the racetrack, and I was like, no, I'm a motorcycle road racer. Like, oh, you guys, it's really dangerous. This looks really scary when you guys lean over the bike. And I totally understood where she was coming from, because at one point when I was starting riding, I was like, who are these nut jobs, you know, leaning so far over on the bike, you know. But what I've come to realize is that it really is not so bad once you understand how a motorcycle turns, the concept of how the tires are designed to work, and you have trust and faith in the tires that you've chosen. It's like a storybook poem right here. Have faith, have love, trust your tires. You know, that's my obsession, guys. Tires are, in my view, the most important thing when it comes to motorcycles. The rest of the stuff I don't care about. The engine, all you guys with the big engine, exhaust, and all that stuff, I'm obsessed with that. The tire, management of the tire, and the choice of tire. It's just about everything that you'll see on TV. Racers talk about. There's a reason for it, because it's so important. Anyhow, where was I going to talk now? I want to do this as one continuous take, guys. I honestly do not want to spend very much time. This is going to be one of those videos where I'm just going to let my heart out and talk, you know. And so, all right, let's get into what's going on with me right now. So, I had a 3rd grade AC joint injury following a Highside crash in September at Calabogie Motorsports Park. If you guys don't know Calabogie Motorsports Park, it is a big, giant racetrack. It's one of the biggest, it is the biggest racetrack in North America. I think one of the biggest racetracks, if not the biggest, definitely the biggest in Canada. And so it is also one of the hardest racetracks to learn because of the sheer number of turns and the complexity of turns. They're not simple turns, they're banked turns. There's you know, hairpin turns on every like the 2nd, 3rd corner. Like it's just wild, you know. And it was my first time going to Calabogie, and I really underestimated the racetrack. You know, I did 3 sessions at the racetrack. I did 3 sessions, about 30 minutes each session on my own, and then we did a 1 lapping session. So this one was on my 4th session, basically, that I had my crash, and it was on turn 12, A or B, I can't remember. Maybe it was actually between the 2. And this is the sharpest turn of the racetrack. So the eagle is what, the beak is what it's called. And this turn right here, this is the most technical section of the racetrack at Calabogie. So I'll do some editing here, and then you can look at the racetrack. So I came out of that one of the harder turns of the Calabogie. It's called Temptation, and I just for a second, you know, I lost awareness of where I was, because here's the thing, I was having such a blast, I was having so much fun, so much adrenaline, but I did not sleep the night before because of the preparations I wanted to do for the track day. So you know, like when you're doing a track day and you're paying so much money, you want to get the most out of that experience. So I brought sprockets, I brought a tent, I brought all of my tools, compressor, generator. I came prepared for that track day. I didn't want to look back because this is my first time with Pro 6 Cycle. You know, I want to leave a bit of a good impression. That kind of backfired on me. They're like, who's this idiot, Mr. Kawasaki, you know, crashing out on us here. But bear with me, I had a fantastic ride. I was overtaking guys on 600cc bikes. I was overtaking guys on a 1000cc bike. Not a big, you know, big accomplishment there because I was in the green group, right? And there's people who have maybe been riding for like 2 years even in that group, you know. So there's women, there's younger guys, like 18-year-old guys, 17-year-old guys. You know, I don't know if it's 17. I think you have to be above 18 to do these track days or something. But any case, I was very cocky. I was very cocky, and this is the reason that most people crash. In fact, this is the reason that so many crashes happen. The bulk majority of them, for me, both times that I've went down, it's been because of ego. And I can't understate that enough, you know. Being me, I have obviously a standard to uphold. Every time I go on the racetrack, there's pressure on me to perform, you know. And most of that pressure is coming from me because really, in reality, no one really expects me. Like, I don't have a professional contract here with, you know, World Superbike team. Not yet, at least. Hopefully one day. No, I'm just kidding. But there really is no reason to be pushing at 100% on your first few track days. This wasn't my first track day. This was my first time on the circuit. So you actually need to take your time to learn and remember where you are. But because I didn't sleep, what happened was that I just I wasn't tired. I certainly was not tired because I had adrenaline going in me, but because you're tired, normally what the adrenaline does is that it gives you a sense of fear, right? When you're afraid, you're more alert and you're aware. Because I was tired, because I had literally not slept the night before, to the last minute I was doing preparations with my bike and the trailer, getting everything packed in the car, you know. and I was a one-man. I had help, but basically I was doing all this myself. I was a bit underprepared, and I already paid for the racetrack. There's no refund, you know, anything like that. So I had to basically book it and pack everything as soon as I possibly could, and just go to that racetrack. Anyway, so I arrived at that racetrack, and I felt immediately after the first lap or two, I was like, oh my god, this place is amazing. This place is fantastic. And I wasn't tired at all, you know, but I was overly brave because I didn't rest, because I wasn't afraid. And when you're not afraid, you're not making smart choices, you know. And so when I came after my fourth session, when I came to that section of the track, the Eagle, the technical section, I thought I was actually going towards Temptation. In my brain, for a second, I lost where I was on the racetrack. And because that section of the racetrack is just a straight, right? I went full out gas. I thought I completed the turn through turn 12, and now I'm headed towards whatever turn that was next. That was a straight, basically. But I missed the sharpest turn of the circuit. So what had happened is that I looked ahead, and for a second I caught a glimpse. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going too fast. And what happened is that I looked at a Marshall that was 12 o'clock ahead of me. Because I was in fast, I was immediately on the brakes. On my front brake, I was squeezing it. My rear brake, I was squeezing it, but not like full out. But I looked at the Marshall who was 12 o'clock ahead of me, just in front of me right there. And I could see he was panicked. He was just like, you know what I mean? By the way, guys, yeah, I'm still in the sling, so that's why I might look a little bit funny here. I'm still recovering from that. Oh, now I'm gonna have to do this. All right, but he was so scared, and I basically committed. Listen, guys, I want to say that I wish that it was, you know, I want to say that it was a crash that I could not have avoided. It was something unavoidable, but the reality is the crash was just a basic fundamental mistake from me. It was a basic rider's crash. It's one of the most common things that causes a crash on the racetrack, and it's what beginners crash. The number one reason why beginners crash, and that is target fixation. And I fixated on that Marshall. And when I fixated on that Marshall, I panicked. What I should have done is I should have looked into the turn. As I was completing the turn, I should have looked where I was going, and I should have kept calm and kept going. Now, I knew I was going to run into the grass. I knew that I had no more room. So my plan was to just go into the grass and basically, whatever, you know, use up as much space I can, stop. If I have to dump the bike in the grass, so be it. But I didn't crash in the grass. I crashed before the grass because I fixated on that Marshall, and I stomped the rear brake, which I upgraded recently. Oh, we got some army choppers here. I hope they don't shoot us. Oh man, that's low. There we go. Oh, that might be a snowmobile crash right there. That's a emergency chopper. So anyway, because I fixated on that Marshall, I panicked and I upgraded that rear brake. And what you're not supposed to do a lot on the racetrack is use a lot of rear brake. You do it because when you're slowing down on the straight, you get a little bit more stopping power, but it's not significant, and you don't want to be coming to complete stops on a motorcycle. Rather, you want to wear out the rear tire on accelerations, and you want to wear out the front tire in braking and using as much front brake as you can. Now, I upgraded that rear brake, and with steel braided lines and the pads too. I think I completely did a brake job on that rear, so it was very powerful. I stomped on that rear brake, and that's what elicited the Highside. I lost the wheel. It just went squeak, like creak, creak. And that was the last thing I heard. And then the whole experience of crashing was like, it's almost like a movie, you know. I was wide awake. It's not like, you know, you black out or anything. No, I didn't black out. It was just like one fluid motion of you just flying and separating them, but the bike goes one way and you're just going the other way. And I crashed in the grass. I landed on my shoulder here. I think I was going around 70 kilometers an hour. You know, I really was not looking at my speed at that time. I don't remember how fast I was going, and I unfortunately don't have a video to show you the crash. And that's one of the biggest lessons I learned, is that when you're doing a track day, please, for the love of whoever you worship, please just film it. Mount a camera on there, on the rear, not on your body, because that's a safety issue right there. It's not even allowed with Pro 6 cycles, but you should definitely film it. You should get telemetry data so you can get the most out of your experience. You're paying a lot of money to be there, right? So definitely do that. And all right, so let's talk a little bit now. I've already touched upon it. What I learned from this whole experience, the biggest things I've learned, okay, first off, is to make sure you're well rested, well slept before doing a track day. Listen to your gut and make sure that you are afraid. When you're going on a racetrack for the first time, whatever racetrack it is, okay, you need to take your time. You need to really know where you are. Everything needs to be calculated. You need to know every turn. You need to study every line through every turn. You need to know which gear you need to be. And so one of the things I've been thinking of doing, and this is really hard because this information is not available to Canadian track enthusiasts and riders. There's no like ultimate guide for Canadian racetracks. What I was thinking is, what I could do is I could go to these racetracks, I can record telemetry, I can post it. Anytime I'm out on a racetrack, I will be recording telemetry from now, and I will be writing down the appropriate gear, the correct speed, and the correct line to get the fastest lap times through each Canadian racetrack. And I will be writing this book. I'll make it available on Amazon Kindle, so you can just purchase the ebook, and I'll either do that, or I'll make a website which you can purchase from, or I may even make it free, depending on how things go with my channel here. But this is really important, Bell. You have to know where you are at all times. Everything has to be calculated, and make sure you sleep the night before and study that racetrack well, so that it cements in your brain. When you arrive there, you're not stupid, you're not foolish with your decisions, what you do, and that way you basically really reduce the risk. Next thing, I talked about the rear brake. Minimize the use of the rear brake. The rear brake, it's going to get you into trouble. Use all the space. If you're going to go out into the grass, with Calabogie, it's a bit scary because Calabogie is predominantly a car racetrack. There was maybe about how far are we? Let's say from here to maybe where those rocks are over there. In that distance, that was all the grass space there was. After the grass, there was a steel fence, and if I had crashed into the steel fence, what happens is your body gets torn to pieces. Right, this is how you see crashes on the public roads. People who crash at 120 plus kilometers an hour, miles per hour, their bodies get split in half, their heads get cut off, and it is just a nasty, nasty, nasty sight. So steel fences I'm not a big fan. A car slams into a steel fence, not a big deal, because the steel fence will absorb the impact. But a motorcycle crashing into a steel fence, if you hit a sharp metal edge, that part of your body is going to get cut off, and it's very nasty. So one of my dreams and one of my hopes is that over time, if more people go out to the racetracks, more people do track riding, they choose to do track riding, then these racetracks will have more funds to make safer turns, make safer run out spaces, to improve their safety on like the walls of the racetrack, as I mentioned. And this is what you see typically in Formula One, how MotoGP, how they've improved the safety, how fatal accidents have become less common over time, over history, is because they've improved these things on the circuits that they choose. And my hope is Calabogie, this is a gorgeous racetrack, it's very grippy. You know, you put your foot down on the racetrack at Calabogie, it's like you stepped on glue. It's very sticky. But my hope is over time they'll have the funds and the demand of riders will be there for them to improve the safety. Okay. Alright guys, that wraps it up. I think I've talked for over 20 minutes here. This was not really planned. I don't want to be taking this video again, but I hope you guys learned something. And you know, I haven't been posting regularly. I don't know when the schedule for my YouTube is going to be. At least for the time being, I'll be trying to put down videos every Tuesday. And this coming, I'm right now working on the Ovale video. So just guys, it's been a real hard time for us all, you know, in these crazy times here. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, guys, I'm going to be taking it easy and just letting my arm heal and let's go from there, see how things out. If you're interested in my channel, I'll be doing 2 video series. One I'm working on right now, which is priority, is a street and beginner rider series, which will take you from a complete novice motorcyclist all the way to intermediate level rider that's ready to go on a racetrack. And then my second series, the advanced series / intermediate advanced, I'll be teaching you everything I know from racing schools, from riding on the track, my experiences. So if you are interested in and you want some amazing content, I'm not going to be putting down some mainstream BS garbage content on my channel, guys. When I teach something, it's the reason they call me the coach. When I teach something, I want you guys to get the best experience out of that. And so I will be putting down every video I make. I'll be making them in depth and as much detail, classroom, university worthy information in my videos. Okay. And I keep forgetting here what I was gonna say. This is how you know you've talked a little too much. I will also be doing do-it-yourself videos, because as some of you may have noticed about me, is that I do everything myself. You know, I am self-taught everything, right? I didn't have anyone to teach me anything, especially when I was starting out riding and doing mechanical work. Everything I've done has been self-taught, and I do things myself. I don't pay people to fix my motorcycle up, to do maintenance on it. So I'll be posting a lot of DIY videos in my channel as well. So if you're interested in that, that's just a spiel on my channel, and you guys can, you know what to do from there. All right, if you like me, if you want to continue to support me, help me out here, so I can put out better content for you guys, so I can get a film crew going, so we can go out to these racetracks with you know, proper technology, everything here. It would mean a lot, guys. Show support, like, share, comment down, you know, all these things help the YouTube algorithm, and I'll be able to put down busy content for you guys. All right, Belly, that's it for me. Ciao, take care, stay safe, don't cough.